The film opens with a brief explanation why chess might be interpreted as harsh, since the chess pieces represent people indirectly attempting to damage one another. Soon after, the scene turns to include a man named Abe who is playing chess. It comes out that Abe is a powerful criminal in the East. On the opposite side of the chessboard is Frankie, another strong mobster who commands the West. Both are notorious for being vicious and difficult to control. Abe is awakened one morning by his daughter. Abe has a nice family, and they seem to be very happy together. When he's at home, he doesn't act like a mob boss. After getting ready, Abe eats breakfast and prepares coffee for himself. He assures his wife that his coffee is delicious and that everyone will appreciate it. His wife jokingly says it tastes like store-bought instant coffee. Meanwhile, their daughter begs if she and her mother can spend the night at her grandmother's house, and Abe agrees as long as she remembers to do her schoolwork. Abe soon departs the house as his personal driver is waiting for him. While he is away, his wife discovers his bipolar medicine, which he must have unintentionally left behind. Outside, Abe is waiting for his special driver, Benjamin. He offers Benjamin a cup of coffee he made himself. After tasting the coffee, he anxiously asks Benjamin how it tastes. Benjamin says that the coffee is delicious, which makes Abe happy. However, as they prepare to depart, Benjamin jokingly remarks that it's almost as delicious as instant coffee. Meanwhile, a police cruiser is spotted studying them from afar. As Abe and Benjamin begin their journey, they realize that the cops are following them as usual. After a while, Abe tells Benjamin to shake off the cops, and Benjamin complies. When they are stalled at a traffic signal, Benjamin swiftly changes directions, forcing the cops to lose track of them. Following this, Abe informs Benjamin that he would be meeting with Frankie, the Western region's gangster head, evening. Abe is unhappy with Frankie since he has been causing problems in Abe's region in the East. Abe also contacts a man named Richard, who typically assists his gang with money laundering. However, Richard does not answer the phone, despite the fact that Abe recently gave him money. Abe is frustrated by this and intends to take action against Richard. After that, Abe meets with his trusty right-hand person, who has a white beard, to deliver a letter with information about Richard. Abe instructs his right-hand guy to deliver the letter to apartment number 23 at precisely 3:00 p.m. 30 minutes later, a man named Kane is practicing boxing. Kane is noted for being tough and brutal, particularly when dealing with his targets. After finishing his workout, Kane returns home to his apartment. But first, he stops at a convenience store to buy some drinks. As Kane prepares to pay the cashier, he observes two scary men staring at him. In retaliation, Kane imagines himself bringing down those two men, but in fact, he attempts to remain calm since he notices two police officers entering the business. Long story short, Kane ultimately makes it to his apartment complex. There is a neighbor in the building who appears to want to challenge Kane, but because a woman is present, he decides not to engage in conflict. Once inside his apartment, Kane immediately packs his belongings and rushes to take a shower. Meanwhile, Abe's trusty right-hand person, who had been directed by Abe to deliver the letter, arrives at Kane's apartment at precisely 3:00 p.m. and slips the note under the door. Kane, on the other hand, has just finished his shower and grabs the letter before relaxing while watching the news. The news is reporting on a terrible homicide, and it turns out that Kane was responsible for bringing down 3 thugs the night before. Kane then opens the letter, which contains information and photographs of Richard. At that point, Kane decides he must destroy Richard straight away. Now let's move on to Richard, who is with his pregnant wife. At that point, he receives a call from an unknown number and suspects it as Abe, so he declines it. Richard then decides to shower before a critical appointment with a customer. Richard's wife, on the other hand, is cooking when she receives an unexpected message notification on his phone. She examines it and sees that Richard has an appointment with another woman. Therefore, he will not be meeting with a client as he had claimed. Shortly after, Richard admits to his wife that he has a late-night meeting with a client and asks her not to wait for his return. Soon after, Richard is on his way, but it turns out his wife is covertly following him. At the same time, Kane is surreptitiously following Richard's automobile. Inside the automobile, Richard is conversing with the woman he intends to meet, and their chat is intimate. She says she doesn't like Richard's wife because she is pregnant. Richard tries to soothe her, suggesting that their relationship will not be revealed. Meanwhile, Richard's wife tries to contact her younger sister, Kelly, but she is usually busy. After numerous attempts, Kelly eventually answers the phone. Richard's wife informs her that her husband is going to meet another lady, which makes her quite distraught because she is pregnant. Kelly tells her to be patient and then phones Richard, who discovers that the woman he was supposed to meet is actually his own sister. Kelly asks Richard not to meet her that night, so he goes to the basement. At the same time, Kane continues to pursue him. When they arrive at a parking area, Kane abruptly draws a revolver and approaches Richard. When Kane shoots, he misses, and the errant bullet hits Richard's wife, startling him. Following that, he quickly exits the scene. Kane gets off his motorcycle and calls Abe's wife to ask where he is. Soon after, the scene returns to Abe. At that point, Benjamin takes him to a hidden bar. Inside the pub, Abe will meet with Frankie, the West's gangster lord. Frankie eventually arrives at the bar, accompanied by his younger brother. Abe offers to shake Frankie's hand, but he declines. At the moment, Frankie's younger brother attempts to insult Abe in Greek, hoping that Abe will not understand, but it turns out that Abe does. Shortly after, they all take their seats, and Abe quickly asks Frankie why he is causing trouble in the eastern region, which clearly belongs to him. Frankie declines to respond, and instead recommends they play chess first. Finally, Abe agrees to play chess with Frankie before discussing anything further. As they prepare to begin the game, Frankie inquires as to what they should wager on. Since Abe does not answer, Frankie says that if he wins, the eastern region will officially become his territory, and if he fails, he will pay Abe some money. Hearing Frankie's statements, Abe finally admits that the chess game bet will cost him his life. If one of them loses, they will be killed immediately. Frankie initially believes Abe is joking, but Abe is completely serious about the bet. At the time, Frankie does not want to risk his life for a chess game, so he and his younger brother attempt to flee, but Abe's right-hand man and one of his crew members block their path. Then Frankie tells Abe not to make any foolish decisions since he has dispatched his men to see Abe's family. Frankie claims that with a single phone call, his guys may harm Abe's family, but Abe maintains cool and even dares Frankie to contact his men immediately. Frankie, feeling challenged, orders his men to go to Abe's house. However, when Frankie's men enter the house, they discover that Abe's family is not present. Instead, they find a box. When they open it, there is an unexpected explosion. It turns out that Abe had planned this since the morning and had buried a bomb. Frankie is now forced to play chess with Abe, whether he wants to or not, and if he loses, he will be executed on the spot. Soon later, the two of them begin to play chess. Frankie is furious since he did not anticipate the scenario to end out this way. During the game, Abe becomes concerned after realizing he left his prescription at home in the morning. It's time he took his medicine. After failing to take his medicines, Abe begins to lose control of himself. He eventually loses the chess game to Frankie, who begins to threaten Abe now that he has won. In his furious state, Abe murders Frankie's younger brother in front of him. Following this, Abe begins to babble incoherently and curses everyone around him. He then turns to his right-hand man and asks how many people they've killed. However, his right-hand man is unable to provide the correct response due to the large number of options. In an out-of-control state, Abe kills his right-hand man and the others there. At that point, Benjamin realizes Abe has lost control since he has not taken his medication. At the same time, Kane appears and instantly points his rifle at Frankie. He immediately shoots and kills Frankie. Then Kane asks Benjamin to drink, claiming that the people there deserve their destiny. Kane then offers Benjamin a gun, but when Benjamin refuses, he points it at him and threatens to shoot him on the count of 3. If Benjamin does not shoot first, he will share the same fate as the rest. Here it is revealed that the violent character Kane is actually Abe. It turns out that Abe has his second personality, and he may be either the calm Abe or the merciless Kane. However, because Abe is not taking his medication, he can no longer control Kane. Benjamin is eventually compelled to shoot Abe, also known as Kane, when the clock reaches 2. The film concludes with a moral lesson. Don't forget to take your medicine or you'll wind up crazy like Abe.